potential trade between the Celtics and the Cavs that would basically swap the starting point guards for the two teams that faced off in last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Kyrie Irving going to Boston, Isaiah Thomas going to Cleveland, along with some other players and a draft pick. You take a look at these two players in terms of their head-to-head stat production. You sort of have similar players when you go inside the box score in terms of points per game. Isaiah scored a few more points in the regular season. Assists, three-point field goal percentage about the same. Player efficiency very close. But for Kyrie, though, his impact for the Cavs really felt in the postseason, where he's averaged more than 25 points per game in each of the last two seasons. That, of course, is 2 straight trips to the finals. Thomas, though, has never averaged 25 points in a single playoff, and this past year he was hurt in that series, did not play all the games against the Cavs. Let's bring back in basketball insider Jeff Goodman. Jeff, what more can you tell us in terms of where this potential trade stands right now?
Yeah, the deal is done, Michael. As we mentioned, Kyrie Irving to Boston for Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, rookie big man Ante Zizic. And the big one was the Nets' unprotected pick next year, which, you know, was obviously the number 1 pick this past year. Where do the Nets fall next year? The East is certainly worse. Some people feel like the Nets won't be one of the bottom 3 or 5 teams, but the roster is certainly such that you can make a case that they're going to be in the mix for a top 3 overall pick. So that's the deal. Kyrie Irving goes to Boston. And one of the reasons, we didn't touch on it earlier, Michael, one of the reasons why, you know, Jay Crowder is more expendable is because they were able to pick up Marcus Morris in the offseason for the Avery Bradley deal. So got a couple. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jeff, I didn't mean to cut you off, but let me ask you this, because as we mentioned earlier, this is not the first time these two teams have been involved in trade talks in terms of swapping their point guards, Kyrie Irving for Isaiah Thomas. So why did it come together now when they couldn't get the deal done a few weeks ago?
Well, I think, again, it was Boston's hesitation, Danny Ainge's hesitation to try to hold out to keep that Nets pick and the Lakers pick next year. Cleveland wanted either Jason Tatum or one of those top 2 picks, and ultimately Ainge decided that the Nets pick was worth getting a guy like Kyrie Irving, now pairing with Gordon Hayward, and still having potentially the Lakers pick, which if it's 2 to 5, they get it next year. If it's not, it becomes Sacramento's pick in 2 years, which, again, could be a top 5 pick. So they've got enough. And, you know, the other thing is Isaiah Thomas coming off that hip injury, Michael, and we don't know how he's going to come back, and you wonder how much that played into the Celtics being willing to move him along with Crowder and the Nets pick ultimately.